What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. We're in the bait laboratory and we are going to be making some plastics with one of my new favorite molds. I haven't done a video making these baits specifically, but I have caught a fish on them already, so I'm really excited about it. And I'm really excited to show you guys my new favorite mold that I just got from Do It Molds. The link is in the description for this mold. It is the 4.5 or the 4.25 inch Boss Hog. I can't remember, it's the smaller one. Can't remember the exact length of it, but it is the Boss Hog mold. It is a great bait for you to use on a swing head. It's a great bait for you to use as a Texas rig or on a Carolina rig, as that is probably going to be one of the main uses that I'm going to be using this bait for. But I'm going to show you how to make it today using some remelts. It's going to be some leftover sprues and stuff like that I've had in other videos or other baits that I've made, and it's going to be some leftover stick baits that I've had just sitting in the garage for a while. So I'm going to show you how you can use some of your old messed up baits, or just baits that maybe they have the right color but you just don't like using that bait anymore and you don't know what to do with them, but you can always remelt them down and make some baits that you do like. So let's get into today's video making these Boss Hogs. Let's get going. Oh, before we start that, make sure to subscribe to my channel. I really would appreciate you making that subscribe happen, and hit that bell so you can get notifications as well. So hit that subscribe button right now, don't forget, and be a part of the lunatic community and learn how to make some baits and hopefully learn how to catch some more fish, or at least be entertained, hopefully. So let's get into today's video. I really appreciate you watching. Let's go. Let's make some baits. All right, so here's what we were working with. Here's some leftover plastic from some other pours that I've done, and some old Senkos that were baby bass color at one point, and the color's kind of faded, so these will have some salt in them, obviously. And then there's a little bit darker, kind of a green pumpkin color. So I think that, you know, merging all these together is going to produce a pretty cool color. And what we got here is the 4.5 inch Boss Hog mold by Do It Molds. Is a single cavity mold. I'm really excited about it. Like I said in the intro, I have already caught a fish on this bait. So let's get going. Let me show you how to cut down your remelts so that way they melt easier, and let's get going. Okay, so one of the first things I'm going to do is I'm going to start just taking some scissors, cutting up these Senkos, getting them all into my cup. And then I'm going to take some of my old sprues, cut those up as well. And you just want to cut them up so they kind of melt a little bit easier. And pick up the ones that fall out, obviously. And just keep going at it until they're all broken up and you can melt it down. And I'm not going to make you guys watch me do all this, so I'm going to cut these up real quick and then we'll check back. But that's basically it. Just cut them up into small pieces. They'll melt down a little bit easier. So as you can see, we used a majority of our plastic. This is a 1 cup measuring cup, and as you can see, we're overflowing, but once we get this melted down, we'll have a little bit more room to play with. And just like any other time you're going to be, you know, working with the plastic, you're going to melt it down in the microwave just like every other time, but you're not going to have to wait for that process for it to kind of turn over and solidify. So we're just going to melt this down and see what this color looks like all said and done. So one thing to keep in mind when you're doing remelts is you're going to get those bubbles in there. There's going to be moisture that's gotten into these baits, so, and all this extra plastic, so you're going to get bubbles in there. So just keep that in mind, and most of it's going to cook out, but just wanted to put that out there as a caveat that you will get some bubbles. So we still got some melting to do, so we'll put this back in the microwave and keep going. So something I like to do pretty much every time I go out and pour is I like to lubricate my injectors, and I just take some of this worm oil, just put a couple drops into the injector, and then I just pull it back and forth just so it's nice and smooth, so that way, you know, when you draw up the plastic and stuff like that, it's going to be smooth, it's going to draw up smooth, and you're not going to have as many chances to get air inside of your injector. So it's time to check on our plastic once again. Let's get it out of here. We're going to stir it up. It's not completely done yet, but we are going to stir it up and just try to make sure that we're getting all those different pieces of plastic in there melted down and even. But like I told you guys in that last little clip, you definitely are going to get some bubbles in there, but it's starting to work itself out. It's not as bad as it could be, but here's a little preview of the color. It's going to be a nice little watermelon color. Actually going to turn out to be a pretty darn cool color. I'm going to like that. So let's get this back into the microwave, melt it down just a little bit more, and then we'll make some baits. All right, I'm going to stop the microwave and get this plastic out. Should be melted down good enough. And we're going to make our first bait. As you can see, most of those bubbles worked itself out. We definitely still have some. But we're going to go for it. We'll check the bait here in a second once it's all in the mold and see if we have air pockets or anything like that. I think we should be okay. But we're going to suck it all up. Go over to our mold. Slow pressure. And you need to hold a little bit extra pressure. Not a ton, but just a little bit extra to make sure that everything fills in the tail on this mold, because I have done pours before where I didn't hold that pressure hard enough and the tails didn't get filled in all the way. So that's one thing you want to keep in mind. Let's top off that sprue, put the extra in, and set this back in the microwave so it doesn't cool off too fast. Okay, so we're going to check on this bait and see how it turned out. Get our clamps off. Open up our mold and check it out. So we got a nice pour on there. Nice little green pumpkin color. It's going to have some black flake in there, and it's also going to have a little bit of purple flake. I kind of want that purple to show through a little bit more, so I might add some 035 purple flake into our plastisol. Okay, so we got our poly glitter 0.035 purple. We're gonna add some in there, and we have basically a little bit under a cup of plastic in there. So I'm gonna use about 1/8 of a teaspoon, because I don't need a lot, because there's still some purple glitter in there from the previous pours. And we'll just stir this in there to see how it all kind of turns out. I might need to add a little bit more, but we'll see. And I cut up that last Boss Hog that I just poured up and put it back in there. So it's you're gonna need to kind of see through those chunks a little bit, but I think we're gonna need a little bit more. So we're gonna add in another half a quarter teaspoon here. So we'll end up with a 1/4 teaspoon of purple glitter in there, and that should brighten it up, and that purple should show through better than it was, especially with this dark green pumpkin color that we're working with today. Yeah, that's gonna look a little bit better. That purple is gonna show through a little bit more. So we'll get this melted down and we'll pour our next bait. Okay, so we should be good to go. Let's get this plastic out, get our next pour going. I can definitely see that purple shining through a little bit better, which is what I'm going for. We're gonna go into our mold, and this mold does not take a lot of plastic. It's a single bait mold, so it's not gonna take a lot of plastic. This 1 cup is gonna make a ton of baits. Let's hold that pressure, top off our sprue, get this back in, and we'll be good to go. Okay, so we are ready to take a look at this Boss Hog. So let's get it out of the mold, and we will check it out. Open it up. See what we're working with. Definitely a green pumpkin color to it, and that purple is shining through a little bit. It's a little bit darker than I would prefer. I really like the watermelons, but I think this turned out pretty good for somebody looking for that green pumpkin, dark green pumpkin color for sure. Okay, so let's get our plastic back out. Go for another pour. Go into the mold, hold that pressure down. Top off that sprue and put the extra back on in. So I don't know exactly what happened, but I definitely overheated everything and my measuring cup just broke. So we are only going to get 2 of these baits out of here, and I got to clean this all up. But we still got 1 bait left curing in the mold, so we'll check it out here in a second. But this is definitely my mess up here, and I'm going to have to clean this all up and make sure none of this glass is anywhere. All right, so that was a pretty major screw up right there. So what I think happened is it was just overheated, because as soon as I took that that run out of the microwave, I could smell like I burnt the plastic a little bit. Not too bad, it wasn't like an overpowering crazy smell, but it was that coupled with the fact that it's kind of cold out here right now. It's probably, I mean, probably in the 60s or something like that. And I don't know if the table was cold or something, but between that hot and that cold, the cup just like basically exploded while I was sitting there while the camera was turned off, and glass went all over the workbench and everything like that. I got it cleaned up, so we're gonna check out this last bait, but I guess that's just something you guys just really gotta be careful when you're heating up the remelts, because I think I just overheated everything, because it's so much easier to overheat the remelts, because that plastic doesn't, it's just gonna heat up a lot quicker than your, you know, plastisol right out of the tub is. So just be careful. Okay, so we're gonna open up our mold, check out our bait here. Should have turned out just fine. This all got put in right before everything got, the glass cup broke. So open it up. Yep, this turned out just fine. And there's that bait right there. Turned out good. Tails are all complete. And we'll put this in the bath. Okay, so something I want to show you guys is that since there's salt in there from the remelted Senkos in there, these do not float. That salt's going to make everything kind of fall to the bottom. So these Boss Hogs right here, they do not float. They're on the bottom of this plastic container. So that's just something I wanted to point out to you guys, is that when you use that salt, or even if you remelt something with salt in it, it's not going to float. That salt's going to make everything sink to the bottom. Okay, so here's our final baits out of the bath. Nice green pumpkin color. That purple flake that I added in definitely can kind of shine through. You can kind of see it good in the tails down here. But those are the two baits that we got before our glass measuring cup broke. So those are the two. So one thing I do want to note about the measuring cups is those are not actual Pyrex ones. Those are the cheap ones that you can get at Target. They've been working just fine for a long time. All the videos that I've done so far have all been out of those same glass cups, the cheap ones that you can get at Target. I'll probably just go buy another one again and just try to be more aware of how hot everything is getting. But, you know, live and learn, right? So I didn't get hurt. The plastic didn't shoot and burn anything. It just kind of all happened right there on the workbench. So that was so thankful about that. But I'm definitely gonna have to go buy a new measuring cup. But hopefully you enjoyed today's video, and I hope you enjoyed seeing those Boss Hogs get made. I will do more videos in the future with that Boss Hog mold. I know that I'm gonna be using that bait a lot, especially this time of year, when those fish are gonna be eating those crawdads down deep and stuff like that. I like to throw it on a Carolina rig. So I'm looking forward to making some more of those baits, and I will definitely bring you guys along and show you those different colors that I come up with and some of my staple favorite colors. Well, I hope you enjoyed today's video, and I hope you subscribe to my channel. So do that right now. Hit that subscribe button and hit that bell so you get notified of my new videos. I got some fishing stuff coming up, some more bait making videos coming up as well. So please stay tuned to my channel. Hit that subscribe button, and thanks for watching today. And please leave me a comment on how much of a bonehead you think I am from that glass measuring cup breaking. So again, thanks for watching today. I really appreciate it, and stay tuned for more content. See ya.